I agree. Don't touch that thing. That bulbous thing looks wrong. Don't touch it. Oh, shit, don't touch it! Keep it going. What are you touching things for? Hey guys, it's your girl Aisha, aka Geek XX Chic, and we are back with another reaction to The Acolyte. We're now on to episode 4, which is called Day. So the last episode, we got a backstory on the girls and what happened on Brundock all those years ago. It filled in a lot of gaps, but it also left a lot of open questions. For me, one of them was whose point of view are we seeing this from? Was it Omniscient? Was it one of the girls? A lot of people seem to believe that it was from Osha's point of view. So I'm wondering if this next episode is going to be giving us another point of view, if we're going to jump back to the present. But either way, I am very excited to jump in. So let's do that. But just before I do, you know the drill. If you'd like to be in the know of when I upload these episodes, there we go. Please go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well as that notification bell. That's the important part. That way you'll be notified and be in the know of when these drop. All right, that out of the way, let's get into the episode right now. Is it sad that I don't want the Wookiee to die? Because I feel like the Wookiee and May had like a relationship. And I also don't know, like I said, I still have my questions about who is actually involved with what happened on Brundock. I don't think all of them were aware, but I could be wrong. That's the same symbol that's on May's forehead. Back in Coruscant.
Diminish areas of vulnerability.
Oh, they did go back to Coruscant.
Thank you.
For what?
For helping me find my sister. Prove my innocence, clear my name.
I was just doing my duty.
You were nice.
May is the Jedi's problem now.
Ooh.
And I'm not a Jedi.
Facts.
Don't tell me you'll miss me.
Maybe a little.
And we'll go to a cantina and trade stories about Master Soul.
Did you say goodbye to
Sounds
him?
like a plan.
I've caused him enough trouble.
I don't think he considers you trouble, Osha. I think he considers you a daughter. But their relationship seems complicated. And I guess technically they're not supposed to be as close as they are. Which is so weird, because, you know, they always shun the whole idea of connections, but I haven't seen yet a Jedi and a Padawan that weren't close.
That is one Jedi who doesn't want to be found.
May will find him with hate.
You know, your sister being alive doesn't change anything. You need to kill the Wookiee. You made a deal.
So is the deal with the Master in order to train you, I'm assuming? I mean, I get it. If she didn't know that that Osha was alive, she'd have no reason to barter anything to find her. So, interesting. So it was the Master who wanted... I would have thought it was her, but I guess not.
She doesn't know her master's identity, but she fears him.
An apprentice who doesn't know their master.
Mm-hmm. Happens all the time with Sith.
This girl could become a major threat.
She's not disciplined.
Yet she eluded you,
She did.
and she killed 2 Jedi Masters.
Well, one actually took himself out.
She turns up all these years later, trained by one of our own. You think a Jedi taught her? Even a hologram can tell me that.
Ooh! Okay, so maybe my theory was right.
16 years ago. Why didn't you tell me there was a chance this poor girl survived?
If I
So
thought
she
that,
didn't know?
no one could have survived that.
Unless she didn't fall, and you didn't see that.
I fear May is only a small part of her master's larger plan.
Absolutely is.
She will not surrender without getting something in return.
Do we have something she wants?
Oh, you're gonna try to barter her sister. So, although I do think that Osha does kind of need to talk to her, but looking at their past, it looks very unhealthy. Very unhealthy.
I'm just curious how you're going to do it this time. You failed so much.
Damn!
Sister wants
What kind
you
of deal
to...
did you make with him?
I didn't. We didn't exactly. I just owe him.
Good as a him.
I've never seen his face. Have you?
You know I haven't. Oh, look. There it is.
I don't trust this kid. He has seen him.
Anyways, let's get going.
I don't trust him at all. That was definitely meant to provoke her. Maybe he is the trainer. You think? That would be an interesting twist. Has she ever seen the Master and him at the same time?
When I told May you were alive, her eyes softened. She became a different person. I don't want May to get hurt. I know you don't either.
She's a murderer.
But she's still your family.
I don't know that that's a good enough reason not to keep a distance. That's right. Mind your business.
Any questions, civilian?
Yes, why are you so uptight?
No, very comprehensive briefing.
I'm glad that she picks up on it. You know, they both know that yours a little, you know, unclench, buddy. It's okay.
We're looking for a Wookiee. He's big and hairy.
Like every other Wookiee? That's like saying, yeah, going to Africa and being like, I'm looking for a black guy. You know, he's black.
The locals say he ventured off into the forest and never came back.
Use the Force. Find him, soul.
Kalaka is in there.
Looks welcoming. Come on, guys, let's go. Camping trip.
Although most Padawans want to learn Shariwak, I took it upon myself to learn a language a little more nuanced.
Oh, good for you.
May has always been your wound. Maybe Sol brought you here to face her. But maybe he brought you here to face yourself. We need to catch up.
Ooh, not you dropping some deep knowledge. He's not wrong, though. You do need to get past that. And figure out what happened. Something happened. Something's not right. Both of y'all were lied to, but it doesn't change the fact, unfortunately, that May is going to be going to jail or dying.
We don't know. And we don't want to know what lives out here.
I agree. Don't touch that thing. That bulbous thing looks wrong. Don't touch it. Don't touch it. Oh, shit, don't touch it.
Oh, shit.
Keep it going. What are you touching things for? You sure you... Oh, no. Move. Keep moving. Keep it. One left, right, left, right. Come on. Osha, girl. Where are your black genetics? Come on. Or just sit and wait to get eaten, sure. You could have been gone by now, sis. But then you had to go and touch it and wake it up. It was chilling, and you had to go touch it.
It went straight for the saber.
It's attracted to light.
Let's move.
Yes, move, May. Or Osha. And stop touching things for the love of shit. That poor beast didn't need to die. It was just trying to chill and take a nap, and you had to go and touch it. Come on now.
But I disturbed it. And now it's dead.
Yes. What did we learn from that?
We're not defined by what we lose. We're defined by what we survive. You've survived a lot.
So much sage advice. Keep walking! Forest full of all kinds of weird giant creatures, and you sitting out here having a heart-to-heart. Can we do this in a clearing?
I want this more than anything, but it's impossible. And if I don't do it, he'll kill me.
That's why you don't make deals when you're a child. Good girl, May. Did your gut tell you not to trust him either? Because I don't trust him.
I don't see him.
What?
Basil.
Oh, God.
Great.
What ate Basil? Look at you. Fell right into the trap like a good boy.
Osha being alive changes everything. My loyalty is to Osha, not your master.
The Jedi will put you in prison.
Yes.
I'll have to admit it. I did need you.
Hey!
Will this work?
What is it?
It's nothing.
You sure? It felt like something.
You weren't ready.
But I'm ready now.
Explain yourself.
This is different.
How?
You're going to face your past. Both of us will.
What does that mean?
Once we get May safely to the ship, I'll explain everything.
So, oh my God, come on. I wanted to believe in you. Damn it. You did know. Oh, goddamn. Is he drunk or did he pass? Is he gone? Someone beat you. And that's a lightsaber burn.
He's here.
Terra's already here. Where'd the sun go?
Should come out with your hands where we can see them.
That means you, May Anasea.
Do you want to face the master or them? You said you wanted to say it. Come on. If you're actually changing, prove it. Come out with your hands up, girl. What the shit is that? No, what is that? Why are you still standing? She has no black instincts.
Stand down.
May, why are you standing there? Not May. Oh, Osha. Also, May, you're just gonna... Okay. Y'all wait this long to engage? Right? You just standing there, girl. Oh, she said out of... He said out of my way, bitch. Woo! And that's how you ended. Rude. Okay, I gotta go back for a second because I need to see this body again. Why is it so dark? That is a very small figure. That's a woman. I think it's a woman. It could be a man, don't get me wrong, but the body looks more like, wow, May. So much for my sister's all that matters. You left her out there to get chopped. Yeah, no, that's definitely a smaller statured person. It could be a man. I mean, still taller than May or Osha. But maybe my theory of it being one of the witches that survived might be true. But why the lightsaber? But then again, we don't know about all the witches. We don't know that all of them came from the same place because they were definitely a very eclectic group. So what if there was a Jedi that was amongst them in the first place, or a former Jedi, former Padawan? But how did they get a lightsaber? I don't know. More questions, damn it. Okay, well, that was another, I think, solid episode. It definitely kind of was like, it was slower in the beginning, to be fair, but I do like that, again, that they're building the layers to the story here because the background, whatever happened at Brendock is really the crux of all of this. And I'm not mad at them for taking their time to tell the story of it, because if you want the full effect of a good story, you need to make sure you get the nuances in there. You need to take time to tell the story. And that's what we're doing here. And I just say this because I know that one of the bigger critiques I've heard of this from other people, and I'm talking about people who are genuinely trying to critique the show and not just looking at it from a, oh, this is not the story, it's like, no, kind of standpoint, is that the pacing is a bit slow. But for myself, like, I've been watching TV for a long time, and honestly, back in the day, we used to get shows that were 22, 25 episodes long per season. Like, they used to take their time to tell stories back in the day. So, you know, taking a little time to tell a story doesn't bother me personally, but I know for some people, they like things to be moving a little bit faster. I know that we take in information a lot faster than we ever have, so it's a little harder to be patient these days, but I'm okay with it personally because I like a good story. As long as there's a payoff at the end, I think it's worth it. But anyways, the main takeaways I have for this one, as I said, I don't trust, is it Kinnear? I don't trust him. The Master's little errand boy, I don't trust him at all. There's something about him that doesn't make sense. And the fact that we didn't see him, like, we know that May strung him up, but then we didn't see like what happened. Why didn't the Jedi see him on the way to May? Now, again, I get that maybe he was in a different place, but from what they were saying, it was a straight shot. So I don't know. I'm just saying we haven't seen him and the Master in the same place. And how did he get all the way to this planet? Like, I know he probably was in contact. Like, you know, if we're going to believe that they're two different people at this point, yes, it's possible the Kinnear could have called him and said, hey, we're headed here to take out the Wookiee. So yeah, this is where we're at. We're going to be there by then, by this time. I don't know where the Master ever is at this point. Like, maybe he was already nearby. It is possible he could have traveled there, but it just seems a little too convenient that as soon as May says, I'm out, my sister's alive, I'm not going at the plan anymore, I'm planning on running, the Master just happens to show up. Like, Jedi are powerful, but they do not, as far as I know, they don't have the ability to just warp, like independently, just beam like a Star Trek Enterprise transporter and just go wherever they want, right? Like, no. Either he was already there waiting to see whether or not May was going to fail, or he's not separate, or him and Kinnear are the same person, which I'm starting to think might be the case, because just something about the way Kinnear was saying those questions, all the way like, oh, this doesn't change anything, you know, with your sister, or you're not losing your nerve. Oh, it's not impossible, you know, like, and then what was it when they were walking, before they went to the forest, what did he say to her? Something like, oh, she's, when she was asking about her sister, and he was like, oh, you know, she seemed like she was in over her head, but you know, what did he say? He said some smart remark, but something about the way he said it, I'm like, that just sounds a bit weird. It sounds like it's provocative, but in the wrong way, right? Because if this person is just supposed to be an associate who maybe you have somewhat of a relationship with, wouldn't they have a level of empathy over the fact that the sister you thought was dead all these years is still alive, right? Like, and the fact that might be messing with your head a little bit, and that you might want to just need to process that. Like, I'm not saying that, you know, if you're trying to help her out, you're not going to tell her to stay on task, but it was just the energy and the way he said things to me just came across like he was trying to like demean their relationship. Like, he was very much trying to like poke fun at her for even asking. And then again, trying to make it seem like she's the enemy. Because even when May said that, I can't believe she's a filthy Jedi. And he was like, yeah, well, right. So I just feel like, again, if this was someone who was truly May's friend or someone who cared about May, I think that it would be more like what we're seeing with Saul, right? Where it'd be like, hey, like, you don't know her reasons, like, there's probably a story there, like, maybe you can find out one day, or even if you don't have time to find out, there's probably a story there. But anyways, just something about his energy, especially from like this particular point to when they got to that place in the forest, something didn't feel right. Like to me, I could just sense something was off, and also how antsy he was getting on the way to the Wookiee's place. Things just felt weird. So I'm glad that I think obviously May was hatching the plan to leave. That was one of the reasons she was antsy, but I also think she was picking up on the fact that he was acting strange because she kept giving him looks like, something's up with you. But anyway, so I don't know. Maybe that's a way out there theory, but I'm just like, until I see the two of them in the same place at the same time. And now that I'm looking, yeah, it could be him because Kinnear has a more, his stature is not as big, right? He's taller than May, but he's, smaller. So yeah, I'm wondering, maybe it is him. And if so, what is his B? Oh, so many questions. But yeah, it could be that, or again, my theory that maybe it is in fact a woman. But either way, that's one theory. Second theory is that possibly is a surviving witch, but that doesn't explain the Jedi. And remember, he was asking about the lightsaber too. I thought the questions about the saber were just weird and coming out of nowhere. Like, how the hell would May know, right? May's not a Jedi. She was trained by one, or former one, but she doesn't know, right? We discovered this episode that her training's not complete. So, which makes me wonder if the Jedi that's training her didn't finish either. But how did they get a saber? I guess you don't actually have to complete to get a saber, do you? No, I don't think you do. I think you just need to be able to wield the Force. But anyhow, these are the questions that are circling in my head. I'm sorry, I'm literally talking as I'm thinking. But so yeah, so that whole thing is very weird to me. I'm wondering who the master is, but interesting to see that what Soul said seems to be coming true. May absolutely can't get her sister out of her head. And based on what we saw in the last episode, as I said, she is obsessed with her sister. I'm hoping that it's come down from the serial killer levels that it was at in the last episode. But again, now that someone put in my comments that the whole thing might have been an illusion, or at least parts of that memory for Osha may have been an illusion in order to drive this wedge between the two of them. And if that's the case, then maybe May's obsession was driven up in her memory to make her, because that's the only way I think you can really convince your twin, to convince a girl's twin that her sister was evil enough to take out her family and take out everyone she's ever loved, just like that, right? You'd have to think that there's a behavior pattern that would justify that. And as I said, the last episode made us believe that May was quite obsessive, as I said, to the point where she would need to be on a list, kind of obsessive. So if that isn't true, maybe there was a changing of that memory or an embellishment of some of those memories. I do think May was always a bit too clingy. I think that part was probably true, because I feel like even if you manifest an illusion for someone, there has to be an element of truth to it, right? There's got to be something that rings somewhat true to the person you're giving it to. Otherwise, it's not going to stick, right? Or it's going to always seem off. So my guess is whoever put this illusion, and again, this is what the assumption we're going with, that both May and Osha had, but for Osha, they must have sensed or seen that Osha felt like her sister was a bit too clingy. And I think that was the truth. I do think that May was just a sister who loved being a sister and loved her sister and had her whole identity and her whole life literally built around the idea that her and her sister had to be together in order to be strong and in order to carry out her purpose as a witch. So I feel like for May, she was a little bit obsessed with her sister and she just wanted to be all up on her, right? Which isn't necessarily bad, but it can be smothering. And so I think that deep down desire that Osha always had to do her own thing, be her own person, and the fact that she had much bigger aspirations overall always kind of made her feel a little smothered by her sister, and maybe just a little bit of resentment over the fact that her sister didn't accept that about her. So anyways, point being that I do think that part was true, but it probably was just, like I said, ramped up in whatever this illusion was. And then for May, I'm thinking that since she seems to be so happy to see her sister and so just flabbergasted, I'm assuming that maybe she didn't get too much negatives. I'm so curious as to what May thinks happened on the planet. That's what I'm just so confused about, because I feel like the illusion of the two of them on the bridge, they both shared. I think they both believe that that the other fell into the abyss of nothingness on that bridge. But what about everything else? What else did May see? What does she think led up to that point? That's what I'm so curious about, because I don't think she thinks that Osha did that. And I think that would be such a big lie that whoever's creating this illusion could not have made May believe that, because she knows that out of the two of them, Osha is always the soft flower of them all, right? So yeah, I'm so curious. I was kind of hoping this episode we'd see things from May's point of view, but maybe we're going to get it the next one. But anyways, interesting. interesting there, but that's what I'm saying. There's just something going on with that apprentice I don't quite trust. But either way, Soul was right in that he said, I feel like there's still good in your sister. I feel like I can sense the good in her. She softened at the idea of you being alive. I think you can get to her. And it looks like that's exactly it. Like Soul did, he saw what he saw. And so we see that May was willing to risk it all to get to her. Like she said, I'll surrender to the Jedi. I want them to take me to May, or take me to Osha. That's all I care about. And so we see that she headed there, but Kalnaka was already dead. Killed by a swipe of saber. That's the first time we've seen a saber wound on anybody. And she immediately knew that the master must have done it. Because that's why I'm like, who else could have been there with a saber? I really don't think the Wookiee would have done it to himself. And it also says a lot about, well, because Kalnaka was sitting. So I don't think Kalnaka even got a chance to fight. Which means Kalnaka knew them. Kalnaka knew who it was. Whoever's in that helmet, Kalnaka knew them. Kalnaka knew them because that's why he didn't even try to fight. Because they said it. Remember, like, out of all of the different people all the different Jedis, pardon me, that she's had to go up against, remember that Kinnear was saying that Kalnaka was the one he was the most worried about because Kalnaka, like, A, is a Wookiee, and we already know that they mean business, but also a Wookiee who wields the Force and is a actual Jedi Master. So that combination fairly deadly. So for someone like Kalnaka, I feel like he would have sensed a danger, right? He would have sensed a dangerous presence and wouldn't have just sat there. Like we saw in the last episode, not the last episode, the one before, that those trappers tried to come in and he took care of them in no time. So for Kalnaka not to respond, he knew whoever came in there. Someone came in there, he knew them, and before he knew what to do or before he had time to react, gone. So, okay, that's the theory I'm going with anyways. Because I'm hoping we'll see next episode, but I think they're going to notice right away that Kalnaka didn't even get a chance to fight. So anyway, that's interesting. So yeah, that's where May is at. May realized right away it's seen that Kalnaka was dead, that the master was there, and looks like whatever fear the master has put in her, it was enough that she didn't even have it in her to surrender herself. She was trying to hide from the master, which I'm like, girl, if he's already there or she's already there, it's too late. But anyway, yeah, that's where she was at. She basically just sat in there and she could actually see her sister from there, but really couldn't do anything about it. So that was kind of where things ended with May. And then as far as on the other side of things, we see that the Jedi Council, they got a little footage of seeing May fight. They're like, yep, she clearly was trained by a Jedi, but how did he put it? She said she's emotional. She's emotional, she's sloppy, but there's enough technique that they know it was Jedi training that gave her what she's able to do. And so they know it's a former Jedi or an existing Jedi that's clearly doing things they're not supposed to, but they have no idea who it could be. And so Green Baldy, she was like, I don't want this to get out. I don't want people to know about it. Like if people find out that a former Jedi is doing this, it's going to mean trouble. It's going to mean trouble for us. So we got to handle it internally. And they were saying also it could be a sect. Apparently that was something that was happening back then because they immediately said, oh, maybe there's a little sect that's forming of Jedi that are trying to go against like what we're doing here. So interesting, new information where that's concerned. But anyhow, she basically tells Soul, we got to deal with this. We need to bring her in and we need to do it quietly. And Soul is like, I want to see if we can get her to surrender. I don't think we should just treat this as a we got to take her out situation, because apparently they were thinking of sending someone out that, like, the way it sounded is that they would capture her by any means necessary. They didn't get into the details of what that would mean, but he basically said that if you do the worst, then we're never going to find out who the master is. So he wants to try to bring her in willingly so that she will give up what information she does have about the master, or possibly use her as bait to get to the master, right? So understandably, Green Baldy's like, well, what's going to make her surrender? She hates us. Clearly, she's taken out 2 Jedi. She's not a joke. So how are you going to get her to just come in willingly into your arms? And he's like, her sister, right? I can give her something that she wants, right? That she can't get anywhere else. So we see that Osha was actually planning to just go back to, being a mechanic? But then we see that Soul begs her to come with him, and she doesn't want to do it, but understandably it's partly because she's been running from her past for a long time, but also because I think she doesn't trust herself, right? Like, she's angry at her sister, she's hurt, but like she said, she misses her, and I think a part of her is afraid that if she sees her, she might lose the will to see her punished for what she believes she did. And Soul basically keeps saying to her that, this is not just about May, it's about her too. Like, this is why she couldn't progress in her Jedi training, is because she couldn't get past the guilt that she felt about not acting when she thought she should have to stop her sister, because we see that between the two of them, even as children, May was much more ready to use the Force than Osha was. And we don't know that May was better with the Force. I saw a lot of people saying, oh, May was stronger, May was the adept, but was she? Or did Osha just know how to hold back and always chose to hold back? And I get that sense. Like, I'm feeling like they're probably evenly matched, truthfully, but I just get a sense that Osha's like the stronger of the two, truthfully, and that she's just always been a little bit scared of that power, and that's why she hasn't really been pulling on the thread, as it were, as her mom would say. So anyway, I think that that's really what it comes down to. I think Osha's a bit scared. I think she knows she held back because it was her sister, and that's not the wrong thing, and that she's held this guilt of thinking that if it wasn't for her, if it wasn't for her wanting to be a Jedi, for her not being strong enough to stand up to her sister, etc., maybe all of the people, like her family, everyone would still be alive. And so she needs to face all of that, because that guilt, that shame, that anger, that pain, it's holding her back in general. And so Soul wasn't wrong. He's like, you do need to face that, but also he's like, this is your sister. And he's like, I sense that there's still good in her, and if there is, then we should try to rescue that. So as I said last few episodes, I was hoping that this was just the altruistic nature of Soul, because from the flashback we can see that Soul has always been very partial to both the girls, truly, but really to Osha, because we don't know how long he was watching the girls before he finally reported them, but I have a sense it was for a while. And I think with Osha in particular, there's like a kindred spirit thing, but I think he cared for both of the girls and really wanted to like embrace them as potential Padawans. But whatever happened screwed all of that up. And now after this episode, unfortunately, I do think he knew. I think they all knew, which makes me sad. I have a feeling he didn't want to. I don't know that he participated in whatever would have potentially wiped out all the witches, but I feel 98% confident that he knew. He knew what was going to happen. He knew that they were going to get wiped out. Where the order came from, who gave it, it wasn't from the Big Baldy, apparently, because the Big Baldy, well, actually, no, I can't even say, because I was saying her question about, why didn't you tell me there's a chance that poor child could be alive? I'm like, is that genuine concern? Or is it you knew what was happening, but you thought for sure that the kids had been rescued? Because I can see them thinking, I can see the order coming down being one of two things. Either the order was, wipe them all out because they're a dangerous sect that could be a problem in the future. Or two, take the kids but wipe them out so they never come for the kids, because we don't know for certain that they won't. And we don't want them to like do whatever they did to get these kids again, which again, I feel like they suspected how those kids came about from the blood test maybe. So that's what I'm thinking. It was one of the two, like extract the kids, take everybody else out, or take everybody out. But I feel like actually it was I do. I think it was take everybody out. But I feel like at the last minute, Soul couldn't go through with the kids because he connected with the kids. That's probably what happened. Actually, that's exactly what I think might have happened. I think the order was to take them all out, including the kids, because I feel like we haven't talked a lot about the kids and how they were conceived or what happened or what was used or whatever. But I feel like the Jedi Council or whoever looked at those, actually Indara would have seen the test results first. So maybe whatever she saw, she made an executive decision and was like, we can't leave this planet without wiping everybody out, including the kids. Maybe that's what she was thinking, is like, these are all like a problem. And that's because I feel like that's something that's dark enough for poor Torben to be so torn that he was willing to drink poison rather than confess at the Jedi Council, right? So anyway, maybe it was something like that. And maybe Soul heard the order, and because he was younger and didn't have a lot of power at that point, he just figured, okay, I'm going to do as I'm told. But then when he got there, after seeing what happened with the witches, something in him was like, nah, I just can't do it. And then he found, or maybe it was his job to go find the kids. And then when he saw them, he just didn't have the heart to go through with it anymore. And he ended up saving May instead. And I guess, or Osha. And then he wanted to save May too, maybe. I'm theorizing like hell right now. I'm sorry, guys. But yeah, I'm trying to put the pieces together. But either way, all of that to say that Soul knew. All of that, circular thinking, my God, but I'm sorry, was basically to say that I do believe Soul knew something. All of them knew something, and how deep the level of involvement may be different. Maybe Soul's been the least troubled, and I say least in the sense of able to go back to the Jedi Academy and train everybody and stuff, versus Indara. Actually, Indara looked like she was fine too. Torben and Kelnaka, I think, took it the worst from the sounds of things. But anyway, I feel like he might have been he might be far enough removed from what happened as far as direct responsibility. And maybe the fact that he did try to raise May appeased his conscience a little, that's why he's able to kind of like live with himself, so to speak. But he knew, because the fact that she was like, you didn't let me face Osha the first time. Why not? And he was like, you weren't ready. And then she's like, why am now? And she's like, yeah, but it's for you. And then she could tell he's like, something's missing from this story. And then Soul's like, I will explain all of it to you after. So yeah, I'm thinking he wanted to go to May, find out who the master was, obviously first. But I also think his other thing he was going to do was ask her what she remembered or what was her story. Because all of them, I think, because we saw Torben recognize May right away and Dara recognized May right away. I think if Kalnaka had lived, he would have recognized May. So something is happening here and the Jedis absolutely know what it is. So, Soul. Anyways, I'm not ready to write Soul off just yet because I genuinely think he cares about those girls. I genuinely think whatever happened, he feels crap about it, just like Torben did. So I really want to know what happened. Like that's still a big question mark. Who did what? Was there a third party? And who is this Jedi? Was that Jedi a third party that was involved in all of this too? That maybe, could that Jedi have somehow, if they had enough power to alter these memories, maybe wipe themselves right out of the memories of them being there too? Oh my gosh, too many theories, guys. I'm going to stop. I'm going to be here all day. But yes, good episode. And that, as I said, we got some more answers, but also more questions. And I am very interested to find out who this master is, because that last scene where he just literally just swatted all of those Jedis away like a fly around his head or her head, their head. Yeah, that's terrifying. That's a very strong Jedi. The Force is strong with that one. So I have a lot of questions. So I don't know. I like it. I'm liking the show. I like that they're building this up and they're taking their time with it. I enjoy it. As I said, I like the development that we're getting with both characters. I am looking forward to that eventual face-off, obviously. But I'm interested to find out what's going to happen in this fight. So I'm sad they ended it where they did, but I'm ready for the next episode. But I hope you guys enjoyed watching along with me. I'm sorry I kind of went on a rant here, but my brain has been going a mile a minute. But I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please show some love, and I will see you in the next one.